So again, we are from the UMSL Libraries. We are the staff that work there. We are some of the staff that work there. And this is the main academic library of the campus. We used to have two libraries and now we're down to one, but it's a very large library. And on this site, you'll see our URL here. You can visit the library's homepage at umsl.edu/library. So the Thomas Jefferson Library is actually the academic portion of UMSL Libraries. It was established in 1963. It's a fairly young library. We have a lot of things there. We've got over 1 million volumes or books. We've got hundreds of online databases and other online resources that you can use as a student of UMSL. We also are very lucky in that we have a federal depository library which houses government documents that are published via the United States government. We also have a research commons, which is actually known as the library's computer lab. And the research commons is used very heavily. It's often very busy during the semester. Students use this lab to do homework. They often come here to print things in between courses. You'll often see students sitting at tables studying or reading. And so that's what the Research Commons is great for. Another hidden gem that we have within the UMSL Libraries is the St. Louis Mercantile Library. Brittany West, who is also in the presentation, will talk about the St. Louis Mercantile Library later. I want to point out that the St. Louis Mercantile Library is very underutilized by students, but we're hoping that will change in the future, and this is a great opportunity to learn more about that. So we like to consider, or we do consider the library to be the heart of the campus. Other than coming there to just find dusty books, it's a great place to study. It's also a wonderful place to relax, also to get some reading done and meet with classmates. So another great feature of the UMSL Library is one of a feature that we actually take a lot of pride in that's very popular with staff and students is the Cafe TJ. The food that is served here is vended by Sodexo. You may have seen a presentation on Sodexo's food services, but the great thing about this cafe is that they serve Starbucks coffee and teas. And this cafe is right off the vestibule when you enter the library. So in between studying or reading or working, you can visit the cafe to grab a cup of coffee if you drink coffee or tea. There's also vending machines that have sodas and juices and water. And you can also grab a bite to eat. So if you're needing breakfast or lunch and you haven't had time to feed yourself at home or in your dorm, you can definitely do that at Cafe TJ. And there's also plenty of seating to study and to hang out with friends. And now Karen's going to talk about library services.
We have a lot of different library services that we can offer you if and when you come to school at UMSL. There are study spaces that are currently configured for social distancing, but we also have study rooms. So as soon as COVID restrictions are lifted, students can reserve a study room with their current UMSL ID. Did you forget your laptop at home? You can borrow one to use in the library. Again, all you need is your UMSL ID. What you're seeing there on the picture is the public service desk, and that's where you can come to reserve a study room, pick up a laptop. We also have cell phone chargers that you can check out because sometimes our cell phone batteries get low. So please feel free to come by there with your UMSL ID when you become a student. Some of your professors will put books or audio-visual items on reserve, and this is where you would come again with your ID to check out one of the reserve items. There is a scanner close by, so if it's a book that your professor has put on reserve for your class, there's a scanner just across from the public service desk where you can scan pages. Interlibrary loan is one of the most popular services in the Thomas Jefferson Library. If you cannot find a particular book that you want for your research or for a class, or if there's an article you're trying to find that the UMSL libraries do not have access to, you can submit a request through our interlibrary loan department, and they will try to locate it at a different library. And this is a service you do not have to pay for. It's part of your tuition dollars at work. And finally, are you stuck on an assignment and don't know where to begin? Well, the library offers research help in a variety of formats. Reference librarian Judy Schmidt is going to tell you a little bit more about that.
Hi, everybody. I wanted to let you know that TJ Library offers several different methods for providing you with research help. We currently offer support through an online chat service that is staffed at least 7 hours a day while classes are in session, and video conferencing via Zoom when screen sharing is needed. Once the social distancing restrictions have been lifted, students can stop by the library's public service desk to briefly speak with a librarian, or they can request a private one-on-one research consultation for more help. I'm going to start sharing my screen so I can show you the library's homepage. So this is the library's homepage. The library also offers a great number of LibGuides, which are research guides written and updated by librarians, which you can find right here. Most of our guides are designed for students who need help in a particular subject or discipline. So whether you're a first-year student taking a history course or you're seeking a PhD in nursing, you can find tips on the best databases to use, how to perform a targeted search, and which citation style is most common for your discipline. In addition to subject guides, we have a number of guides that offer general help on basic research techniques, how to find full-text PDFs for the articles you want to read, and how to cite sources. One guide that might be especially useful to you as you begin your education at UMSL is the one called Getting Started with Your Paper or Project. This guide offers advice on how to choose a topic, shows how to find background information and scholarly articles, and lists additional non-library resources such as the Writing Center and Math Center. The library also has a few general interest guides, which I'm going to find by going back to here to all guides. This one right here, Race, Policing, and Protesting in 2020, is one that we created last month. This guide was designed for anyone who wants to learn more about social justice issues in America or safely engage in civil resistance or disobedience. And now I'm going to stop sharing and hand the torch over to Chris Niemeyer to talk about the library's many resources.
Yes, hello. The UMSL libraries have got online access to full text articles from thousands of sources. And the thing about this is it's material that you're not going to find for free on the World Wide Web. It's outstanding material. It's really neat. You have access to it while you're students of this university. We also have access to a huge number of databases on virtually every subject imaginable, every discipline. Great information that's, once again, not going to be available for free on the web, but that is available to you as a student very conveniently. You can log into it from home. It's just wonderful. We have a growing number of online books. So yeah, we've got quite a few books in the building, but there's quite a bit of really good book reading available online. And then this isn't something that many people know about, but most of our databases will let you format citations in APA and MLA styles and more. And yeah, students really like that. When they're writing a paper and they've been told that they have to do a bibliography and citations in APA, MLA, the databases will format citations. Many of them will. I think virtually all of them do at this point. But I'm going to show you something about one of our search engines. If I go here, I'm going to share my screen. I go right here. Here is the library's homepage, and I'm hoping everybody can see it, but right here in the middle, there is a search line, and it's a very powerful search service, and it's called Summon, and it unites all of our online resources in one search portal. Let's just say that you're interested in the topic of students and therapy dogs. Okay. Therapy dogs for students, and you'll see them on campus. I'm sure we've all seen people walking around with therapy dogs and other animals, and we do have those at UMSL. We do have students who use them. And now what Summon has done, we've gotten a new screen. It has looked through the full text of many of our books. It has looked through newspapers. It's looked through magazines, everything. But if I go right here, in fact, we have practically 200,000 results on this topic. But if I go right here to peer-reviewed publications, this is a limit that faculty really like. When I click on it, this should give me serious scholarly academic research articles. And as I go down the list, whenever it says full text online, it should be the full text of the article. If you click on it, it should take you in one way or the other to the full text of the article. And once again, this is material that the university paid for. It's not free. It's not available on the university. Usually it's not free. And it's great stuff, just outstanding, outstanding stuff. Let's say that you like this particular article. I'm going to click on the link right here for full text online. And now it's going to take me to a screen. And when you see a screen like this, what Summon does is it gives you options to find the full text of the article. And sure enough, here is a button for full text. I click on it. And now I've logged in already because it's going to ask me to log in. And here is the article. The article comes from the database Science Direct, which is put out by Elsevier. And Elsevier is a really well-known, outstanding, rigorous, scholarly academic publisher. You're not going to find their stuff for free on the web. You really aren't. Here is the article in as a web page. But if I go right here, it'll give it to me as a PDF. I click on it. And if this works, I should get the PDF up on the screen. If you have any trouble pulling these articles up on the screen, please ask for help from one of us, a reference librarian, and we'll figure out what's going on. You shouldn't have any trouble at all. It should be easy. If it isn't easy, don't spend more than 2 minutes on it. Just give us a call. Come, if the desk is open, if the library's open, come by. We'll figure out what's going on. But here is this particular article. So it looks to me like ability to pay attention in class to help nursing students' heart rates. Interesting, interesting take on this, topic. So very typical scholarly academic research articles, a very to-the-point article title. I've got no doubt what this article is about. It's very formal, but it's very to the point, very clear. And if I go right here, here's an abstract. An abstract, if written well, should be a very concise summary of the article. And as I go through the article, we're seeing references to what other people have written, very typical of scholarly academic research. They did some kind of an experiment, it appears. Lots of data, lots of graphs, charts. And if I go to the very end of this article, I'm going to see something. It's a 10-page article, very typical of scholarly academic research articles. And that is a list of references. Whenever you see references at the end of an article, that is used the hallmark that you're seeing scholarly academic research articles. You will never see a newspaper article or a magazine article with a list of references at the end. That would be highly unusual. I don't think it really happens, actually. That's popular literature. This is actually research. So it's not journalism. It's not feature article writing. Anyway, so as you see, if I go back out, we have got just enormous amounts of full text articles, just great stuff. Now, something else. I can email these citations to myself. I put them in a temporary folder. And if, I don't know if y'all have seen it, but I've activity up here in the upper right-hand corner of my screen. I click on the folder icon, and there are all of my citations, and I can email them. And if you email the citations to yourself and you never get the email, check your spam folder, your junk folder. Why? Because unfortunately, these emails come from an organization, and sometimes the spam filters, the folders, interpret them as spam, and they really aren't. So check there, okay? But here's something. I mentioned APA, MLA, etc. So you have a faculty member who says, I want the citations, your bibliography to be in APA format. I clicked on it. And there we go. They've been put in APA format. It's not perfect. You will have to go over the citations and see that everything fits. Sometimes the citations will unfortunately leave out authors, or they'll leave out page numbers, or they will capitalize an entire title, etc. Nevertheless, it does take a lot of the grunt work out for you, and it's something very popular. It can be a time saver. It really can. So that's one nice thing about Summon, what it does, and indeed what many of our library resources do. It's just wonderful. Our online resources, many of them will do that kind of thing. So let me go ahead and stop the share. And now I will turn the floor over to my colleague, Lena Martin.
Thank you. Hello, I am Lena Marvin, and I am the Institutional Repository Librarian. So that's a little part of the library where we show off faculty and student works from UMSL on the World Wide Web. Next slide, please. So the works we show off are downloaded from all over the world. So all of these little circles with numbers in them, those are folks all over the world who have downloaded works created by folks here at UMSL. Next slide, please. So the total number of works is around 13,000 works right now. I'm going to put more in, and so are you. If you do undergraduate research with the Undergraduate Research Symposium, they have all of their works in URL. If you are going to graduate school and your thesis and dissertation will be found in URL once you graduate. So those graduate works, right now we have about 1,300 works, and they've been downloaded 158,000 times from all over the world, which has been great. In addition to those works, we've also been hosting some OER works. So next slide, please. So what is an OER work, an open educational resource? So the traditional model you're probably familiar with is students pay money to publishers, you get textbooks from them. Next slide. We're trying to turn that a little bit on its head, doing our best as a library, because the library provides you with books, and we're also trying to provide you and faculty with open educational resources, which are alternatives to your traditional textbooks. Next slide, please. So textbooks can cost a lot of money. Even if they didn't cost a lot of money, it would still be a lot of money. That's what the graph numbers down at the bottom are talking about. So if the average class can cost $153, even if we provided an OER, which we charge nothing for less than that, we've got 24 OERs here hosted in URL for UMSL that any of you can get at any time. So the nice thing about an OER is if you're in a class that is, say, calculus, and you don't like the textbook that much, but it's what the professor requires, getting an alternate textbook is now much, much easier than it used to be. So we can help you find that, and it'll be free because the library is here to help your wallets as well as your mind expand. And more to that point, I'm turning it over now to Ted.
Thank you, Lena. I appreciate it. My name is Ted Ficklin. I started work at the library as a student assistant, and that's what I want to talk to you about for just a couple of minutes. Here at the Thomas Jefferson Library, we hire student assistants. I started a long, long time ago as a student assistant in the government documents department. I also hire students to work in work on the circulation desk, and also to help us with interlibrary loan. The reference department and the acquisitions department, they also hire students. Lena in the institutional repository, she uses a lot of student help, and the library also has an internship program. So these are all opportunities if you're interested. When the library opens up this fall, come by and see me at the public service desk on the main level of the library, or stick around at the end of the presentation and ask me a question about that. I can give you my contact info. I am going to be hiring some students to work in circulation this fall. So thank you. I'm going to pass it on to Lindsay Schmitz, who's going to tell you about the Personal Librarian Program.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm going to tell you about our exciting new Personal Librarian Program that will begin this fall semester. This program pairs first-year experienced students with a librarian who will help you navigate the library's many services. Your personal librarian will help you get started with a paper or project, assist you with finding information and identifying the best sources, and much more. Your personal librarian will be there to answer your questions about the library and research, no matter how big or small. Next slide, please. Yeah, and then you can schedule your appointment with your personal librarian when it is convenient for you. We can meet you via chat, email, video using Zoom, and once COVID restrictions are lifted, we can also meet with you in person. And now I'm going to turn it back to Lindsay Scales.
Sorry about that. I've got butterfingers. Okay. So the library does participate in campus events, and definitely we host programs. So one of the things that we recently hosted was a book discussion. One of our professors had a book that he published, and he came and talked about that book. And it was a very interesting experience. This is also something that we would like our students to have the experience to do in the future, is to discuss books. And we also do library displays. St. Louis Mercantile Library actually holds the majority of the displays in the library, and you'll learn about that after this. What the library also does for freshman students is it has a library scavenger hunt. And so if you are someone that's coming into UMSL as a freshman student and you're taking part in the first year experience program, there will be a library scavenger hunt that sort of guides you around the library, and you have to find little clues here, and it's like an assignment that you complete in that program. And that has garnered a lot of attention. It's kind of a fun activity for freshmen. Another new program that the library participated in the last year in was the UMSL Common Read program. And so the Common Read program is actually something that's happening around the nation at various institutions. What it is a campus-wide reading program where everyone on campus has a chance to vote on a list of books that's selected based on a theme that's chosen. And the book that was selected last year by UMSL students and staff is this title, If Beale Street Could Talk, which was published by James Baldwin, who is one of our great American authors. And so with this book, we had several events that happened around campus. We also had a prestigious speaker that came from Columbia University to talk, and that was a really great experience. And we are going to be having more Common Read book programs in the future. Another event that the library hosted very recently, which was very new for us, was our Valentine's Day. And this was kind of an opportunity to get students maybe a chance to relax and to do something fun. So students decorated greeting cards for Valentine's Day, and they decorated cookies. And that was a fun activity for all of us. That was our first time doing that. So if you choose to attend UMSL, we hope that you will participate in these library events that we're having. Okay, so now I'm going to turn it over to Brittany West.
Lindsay. I'm Brittany West, the library assistant at the St. Louis Mercantile Library at UMSL. And we have been around since 1846. The Mercantile is considered a membership library, a nonprofit organization, and also an art museum. It was formerly the St. Louis Mercantile Library Association. And it didn't always reside at UMSL. It originally was at 510 Locust Street in St. Louis, but finally, you know, it needed to grow and expand, and so that required a larger space. And we merged with the UMSL TJ Library building in 1998, and ever since, we've been growing our collections, memberships, audience, and programming, and have also been working with students as well. And within the Mercantile Library, we basically take up the first and second levels of the whole building. And we have an interim atrium, which has a lot of desk and study space. Of course, right now, you know, during pandemic, it might be a little spread out, but students typically love to read and study in all of the different desk spaces we have throughout both levels and the atrium. Next slide, please. So although we have a lot of specified collections, we basically group into three main categories. So we have the Barriger Railroad Library, which is curated by Nick Fry, and it's everything train and railroad related. You can find a lot of physical and online journals, broadsides, timetables, a lot of digital articles and newspaper articles as well in relation to the Barriger Railroad Library. And then we also have our Pot Waterways Library, which has everything to do with inland waterways. We have our curator, Sarah Hodge, who has just joined us this year, and we're very excited to have her. But we also have a lot of journals, digital articles in relation to steamships, everything related to the Mississippi River, Missouri River, a lot of artwork especially. And oh good, I'm glad we have a railroad enthusiast. Nick will be happy about that. So a lot of that can be found in person within the library. You'll see a lot of ship models, as well as train models too. And then we also have the art museum, which is pretty expansive. I mean, we have items all over the library that you'll find. So there's not any one specific place. We have several galleries curated by Julie Dunn Morton. And a lot of the focus has to do with Western expansion, Americana, and a lot of historical, cultural related art. So you'll see a lot of sculpture and paintings, prints as well. Our last exhibition that we had this year was focused on the Mississippi River. And so every once in a while we'll have a bit of a theme exhibit. And next year we're excited to host a 175th anniversary of the library. So we'll be having a very large Americana focused exhibit on that as well. And you can learn more about each of these collections and libraries just by going to umsl.edu/mercantile. I highly recommend exploring the website. There is a lot there. Next slide. So one of our popular resources that is constantly being added to and growing is the digital library. And we have a lot of different ways that you can browse if you're looking for specific articles or journals, newspapers, or even artwork. So you can look through books, directories, journals, even letters, manuscripts, maps. We have a lot of maps, newspapers, and photographs. So we can also offer you, subject searches, and you can also search by decade. So if you're looking for something that's coming out of a particular time period, that is one way that you can, find what you're looking for. But this is an ongoing digitization project, so we're constantly adding to it, as well as our online pot library, Barriger. We also have a Shopmaker American Political Gallery. So if you are taking classes that have anything to do with, American politics, you can find a lot of past and recent past ephemera and memorabilia there. And next slide. So if you're doing a specified research on something that you're needing to take a look at, that's part of the St. Louis Mercantile's collections. The best way to request that is by going online to that link there. So research/request-request.html. And you'll find links to this just from the main Mercantile page as well. But as long as you just fill out your information and submit the form, one of our curators will help you out and get back to your inquiry. Next slide. So the head of reference at the Mercantile is Charles Brown, also known as Charlie Brown. And he is very knowledgeable. He's been with the Mercantile a very long time. And usually if there is something that, it's not a typical book that you can just check out from our library, which, of course we have those, but we also have special collections that can't leave. So he can usually help you out certain times of the day. If you just go to our website and look at research, it'll show you each day at what point you can schedule a time to meet with Charles, or sometimes Nick is available as well. But usually they can find what you need and meet you in the library reading room. There's an image of it right there. And usually for about an hour or so, they're available pretty much for, as long as you need to be viewing whatever it is that you're looking for, and they can ask, help you out with any questions that you have as well. So if you do come to UMSL and visit our library, do please visit the Mercantile as well. It's just down a set of stairs and it's amazing. A lot of people don't know it's there. So we will definitely welcome you to come and check us out. Thank you.
Okay, so thank you again, everyone, for attending this afternoon. If you are attending UMSL this fall, we're very excited and happy for you that you chose UMSL. And this is our website again. The libraries are here for you. Please remember that. We are a great go-to place for help with just about anything, with finding information, with getting connected to other resources on campus. We're also great for that. You can also follow us on our Instagram page, our Facebook, and our Twitter. Those accounts are listed here on the slide. And again, these are all your presenters that presented from the library today. We have tons of other staff members, but thank you for coming to meet us. And now, if anyone has any questions that you'd like answered, we are happy to answer them for you. I believe, so we've got about over 20 minutes left if anyone has any questions about anything concerning the library. And I wish you all the best in your futures, and I hope that everyone stays well and enjoys the rest of their summer.